Good afternoon, Tony Dattino, the founder of the USA Memory Championship, and getting ready to beginning now our process for a major event we're having at MIT November 10th, where we've invited the champions of champions and the top finishers in the memory competitions of 25 years to compete. Who does have the best memory of all of these champions that we've had? So it's coming, so that's what's keeping me busy, and of course Milton has just come across Orlando in Central Florida, and the only damage that we have to our residents here is some shingles that are no longer on the roof. So we have some roof repairs that we need to get in line for. We did have a neighbor who climbed up on the roof and suspects that it will be okay in the short term as long as the rain doesn't pool and puddle. So we have a sloped roof. We're hoping that that goes down. And we've got a roofer that'll come in Monday and tell us what we need to do. So we're physically okay. That's the good news. And I'm back here with internet connection. So off we go. And I wanted to come back and pick up this article that I referenced on how to preserve cognitive power, how to preserve your cognition. And it's coming out of the November issue of Cleveland Clinic's Men's Health Advisor. And it was interesting that they talk about this in the sense of when you think of a link between the heart and the brain, you say, well, gee, why is there a link between the heart and the brain? And what this is so interesting in finding out and talking to people about is that the brain has a large consumer of blood and oxygen. So think about that. It's a large consumer of blood and oxygen that is fueled and processed by the heart. So if we're looking for oxygen, we're looking for blood, and we're looking for the heart to be something that keeps it going. So it's important for us to think about, okay, well, what are some of the things that we focus on for the heart? Well, we certainly worry about nutrition and diets and fats and unsaturated fats and processed foods, and you see more and more about the damage of processed foods and meats and things that are not doing a lot of good things for our nutrition. How about exercise? Well, what cardiologist is not suggesting that people they do some form of exercise, and you're not a marathon runner, so we're not asking you to run a marathon race. But are you walking? Are you doing some gardening? Are you doing house chores? I mean, are you physically active in some vehicle, some way that is not just you sitting down and watching, hours of television or sitting at hours at a laptop? And so it's really important to stay focused on our exercise routines to a degree that you're able to do something. I'm reading more and more about the different types of exercise, that which we do for our lungs, that which we do for our mobility, that which we do for flexibility. So these are things that we pick up more and more that we're learning about. How about our sleep patterns? And I got this is a bad one this week because during Hurricane Milton, I was in the 2 zone, right? Category 2. Never been through a 2 before. Been through a 1 a couple of times, but never a 2. And boy, the winds howl at night, and the raindrops smash into your window and keep rattling and making some noise. And so you lie in bed trying to get to sleep, and you wait for the rain to stop, or you wait for the wind to stop howling. And so, but past the hurricane, how do we get our sleep? And so we know that sleep is a purifier of toxins in our brain, and that it's important for us to get a good night's sleep, a good night's rest, which then helps our brain to be more focused and is not just clarifying toxins, but how to stay focused. And we know for the heart, we want to focus on cholesterol and diabetes and blood pressure. And these all transfer over to the connection of heart to brain health. So this article comes along and it says, and guess what? We got a couple of new ones that we want to add. And one of them being eyesight. And we say, my goodness, well, what's the connection? It stands to reason that good eyesight helps you to remember information obtained. So eyesight from visual cues. How often do we see things, whether they're movement or staring at something? We look at eyes of other people. We get visual cues. So therefore, a visually impaired person has memory problems. God, who is that person? Or what did I read? Or what am I not seeing that I should have seen? Now, I think about this sometimes. I'm looking, like I was looking for the paper the other day after the hurricane, and I'm like, where did I put this piece of paper? And this has got my score chart on my exercises every day. And so I want to do my exercises and mark my boxes. I can't find it. It's like, damn. Now, I'm not talking about those kinds of exercises, because by the time I found it, it was sitting right on the counter in the corner of the kitchen. And I'm like, I thought I put it in a drawer, prepped for the hurricane, but I left this page out. And that's not an eyesight problem. That's just a focus problem in states of stress. So now that I focused and I go by and say, here it is. However, there are eyesight problems that if I didn't have the right glasses on, or I was blinded by the sun, squinting and trying to make out somebody's face, those are okay, but maybe there are times when our eyesight's just not working well. And we're not reading letters well. We need to go get glasses. Sometimes we have cataracts, and we have all different kinds of eye health issues that we need to deal with. And so eyesight is an important, it feeds into the brain, right? Eyesight is your window into the brain. And so it has some potential of creating and damaging things. People with cataracts were associated with greater dementia risk, particularly vascular as well as brain pathology. Wow. Another study basically said that dementia cases could be attributed to having at least a vision impairment of some sort. Now we come along to the other one of our senses, and it's hearing loss. Can also cause similar problems with processing and recalling. Auditory. The deficits, both deficits, right, our eyesight and our hearing, can indirectly raise dementia risk by prompting you to shy away from opportunities for socialization. And we know that social isolation is a killer and is not helpful for us and puts you at risk for dementia, because we're hardwired to want to be connected to other people. And so becoming socially unconnected, it makes you feel, well, gee, what's the purpose? And we can get depressed about it. We can get all kinds of melancholy about it. But my goodness, social isolation or social interaction is becoming more and more critical as something that we can do to maintain good long-term cognitive fitness. And I see that in a workshop we do at a YMCA here in Dr. Phillips, Florida. And I see the difference that this workshop is doing for people that are attending it in their social behaviors, finding friends, and they're even creating lunch groups out of it, or family groups of people who then get together and go talk about some of the challenges and the problems they have. And that's one of the benefits of social interaction. People have an outlet to talk about some of the problems, challenges, excitements that they have in their life, and they get to share it with people. And there's nothing I see better than people sharing life experiences. And so learning about now, my goal here, sharing life experiences, but talking about, I'm reading this Cleveland Clinic newsletter. And now they're talking about vision, talking about your vision has an impact on what you see, what you take into your brain. And then your hearing, what you're hearing becomes obvious to us if we're listening to audio things and missing audio cues and hearing a word the wrong way, what a difference that can make. So those are the two things. The good news is I've navigated the week. I've gotten my Live with Tony's done this week. And looking forward to the upcoming MIT Memory Championship for the champions. We're doing on November 10th at the Kresge Auditorium. If anybody is interested, check out our website, USA Memory Championship website. We've got 14, maybe 15 people planning to attend, and it will be an awesome event. And we are thrilled to have Lumosity back with us, and they'll be part of the event as well, and certainly MIT. So honored that they are hosting the event, and just thrilled after 25 years we're getting some recognition at a national level for people interested in learning how to improve their memory. And the messaging is getting out. And sometimes I feel it's just not getting out fast enough, but it's getting there. So the good news is I'm well, no damage to speak of in terms of our residents. A lot of leaf cleaning up and tree branches this morning. Unfortunately, we lost some plants. But I'm up and going, and I expect to see you back here on Monday. So have a wonderful weekend. Hope all of you are safe and watching some football, baseball. My God, now we have hockey. We're just missing some basketball in the short term, and that'll be coming by the end of this month.